on Golden State, immediately on Golden State. And why not? Teams in this position get the job done 8 out of 10 times historically. So, I mean, just looking at that, they're in a really, really, really good spot where they should be able to get it done. Now, will they is a different story, and the spread becomes the great equalizer because this one opened at -3.5. I know a really sharp guy that took the money line immediately at -3.5. Other groups came in, laid the 4. That's why you're looking at 5.5 now. Publix also on Golden State early, but I think you'll get Houston action as the day goes on. Houston getting, 5.5, 6 points where it probably will get to, I think will be tempting. That should offset the risk. But yeah, a lot of sharp money came in on Golden State as soon as that line opened up. And like I said, why not? Historically, those teams get it done in this spot. NHL, same situation. A little bit surprised, but they are on Winnipeg. The sharp bettors are on Winnipeg. The public's opposite. They're on St. Louis. So you have sharp versus square situation. And when this one goes off, I think they're going to need the sharp side. They're going to need Winnipeg because looking at the back end, I'm already seeing over 8 out of 10 bets and money, over 90% of the money already on St. Louis. And St. Louis is being tied to a lot of money lines over in Major League Baseball and even some UFC action for tomorrow, some of that big chalk. So you have the wise guys on Golden State. Public's probably going to be a little heavier on the dog. And same situation here where the wise guys are on the dog in NHL, but the public's on St. Louis. So opposites on both. We'll find out whether it's the wise guys or the public get the job done.
We got Beast Mentality
7.5. White Sox Houston over 7.5. Good to -125. And game 925 Seattle Texas over 8. Seattle Texas over 8 -120. Win or lose, honestly, regardless of the outcome of those two, probably the strongest 2 baseball plays that I've given this entire week as far as the morning goes. This is the key baseball group. Like they are the ones that have me at number 1 in baseball in 2025. And they rarely bet this early, but they did in the account over Houston, over Seattle. A couple more sides for you really quick. San Diego -135, -140. Yankees laid the chalk with the Yankees all the way up to -230. So there goes that misconception that winning bettors don't lay chalk. Nothing could be further from the truth because then they did it with the Detroit Tigers as well. -170, -175. So 3 sides that it seems like they got out ahead. So keep an eye on the odds logic screen. You want to see if these are worked as scalps. They're beautifully set up for scalp because San Diego will get money, Yankees will get money, Detroit will get money from the recreational bettors. That'll push up the line even further. May open up a scalp. If that happens, then the initial move wasn't really that strong. But they did get San Diego, Yankees, Detroit. And finally, the A's game over against Miami. Over 9, though, up to -125, even 130, not to have to go to 9.5. So we got action. Let me give you that +200 dog in boxing. These are they're up early. Why not? Let's give them some love. Take Arnold Barboza. Arnold Barboza Jr. You may want to have some action on him. I gave him out, like I said, at +210. If you get better than 180, I think you're still good. Those usually have a lot of cushion as far as positive EV goes. So, there's some boxing for you as well with Barboza.
Johnny the Greek, everyone. What do you got for the Clyde?
5 odd screen. It's a split line. Let's call it 5/5.5 for the Rockets. 207 pretty much across the board. DraftKings and Caesars have 208s, books that cater to recreational bettors more than pros. Certainly that's worth noting here. And to be perfectly honest, I do not expect this series to go back to Houston for Game 7. We're in Game 6. Only one of the first 5 games was decided by single digits. Golden State games 1 and 3 by 10 or more. Houston won games 2 and 5 by 10 or more. We had the one barn burner, Golden State winning by 3 on the last game on this floor, but no cover in that contest. Now, obviously, it's hard to win these games by margin, closeout games especially. We saw the Clippers last night. They're up 15 with 5 to go. Ended up not covering -6 and especially not covering -6.5. You pushed on the 6 if you didn't get the best of the number. that hurt you with the Clippers yesterday. And it's a Golden State team that's been pretty darn good at bouncing back off a loss. And make no mistake about it, Steve Kerr pulled the plug real early on Wednesday night. You knew it was a short turnaround for the Friday game. It was midway through the third quarter, Warriors were facing a 30-point deficit. Kerr just pulled everyone. Draymond Green obviously is not ideal to play that kind of minutes because if you're winning, you play way more. Steph Curry, quote, "There's definitely something to look back on as part of the journey, but that's all well and great to talk about. You have to do something about it on the court. We talked about our group trying to do this for the first time together, and I love that challenge because we have an opportunity to write our own story and how we bounce back. We've had a pretty resilient group over the last 2 months, and it has to show on Friday." And they have been a pretty resilient group over the last 2 months. In fact, off the last 8 losses, the Golden State Warriors 8-0 straight up, 8-0 against the spread. Let me rephrase it. They're 8-1 in their last 9, but the one that they lost was a game that Curry sat. So the last 8 times they've lost and Curry has played, they've come back with a win and cover in their next ball game. And obviously 2 of their 3 wins and covers in this series, or 2 of the 3 wins in this series have come by double-digit margins. And of course, this Warriors team, no, it's not the same Warriors team, but they were in a comparable spot just a couple of years ago. The Western Conference semifinals against the Grizzlies. They got bombed by 39 in Game 5, came home and eliminated Memphis in that next ball game. Now, certainly, Houston's not, I don't expect Houston to lay down here. Houston's going to fight, and Houston's good. All right. We've seen the Rockets show more athleticism than the Warriors. We've seen them show the ability to dominate the glass in a way that Golden State hasn't. What they don't have, other than Van Vliet, is necessarily Dillon and Brooks, is that veteran presence. And I think that matters tonight on the highway in a closeout game. That 8-0 straight up against the spread off a loss with Curry in the lineup stands out to me. May not be easy for Golden State tonight, but I think the series ends here. It's a client play for me this evening. Golden State minus the points. And you get it for free just for watching WagerTalk Today.
Teddy Covers joining us.
Not necessarily 2 teams that are trending in opposite directions. And looking at my Odds Logic live odds screen. And by the way, guys, if you want a free trial of this Odds Logic live odds screen, oddslogic.com/Teddy. Get a 7-day free trial to our premium odds service product. I encourage you to check it out. It's a good product. I use it every day. Again, oddslogic.com/Teddy. But looking at the live odds screen right now, I mean, the Mets are anywhere from -110 to -115. Total in this game sitting 7.5. And the Mets do have the second best record in baseball, a half game behind the Dodgers. They're 21-11. The Dodgers are 21-10. But the Mets aren't the most profitable team to support in baseball. In fact, they're not even in the top 5, which tells us that if they cool off, there's probably going to be some money to be made betting against them. And they're showing signs of cooling off. You talked about it. They've lost 2 straight. And again, they've had Gallen and Burns that they were facing. But 2 straight losses, just 3 and 4 their last 7 ball games. And it's a team that, if they're not playing at an elite level at this particular moment, well, they're being priced like they're playing at an elite level. So that's something worth noting. Meanwhile, St. Louis is just 14-18. All right, they're bottom 10 in profitability full season. Now, some of that's schedule related. Look who they played their last 6 series. They played the surging Reds, the Brewers who are playing well, the Astros who are playing better, the Phillies, the Mets, the improving Braves, their last 6 series. No bottom feeders in there. This past weekend, what do we have? Doubleheader, or this past week, I should say. Today's Friday. Doubleheader. They had the doubleheader with Cincinnati and beat them both games, 15-1 on Wednesday, and they got bombed 9-1 yesterday. And certainly, Sonny Gray is a guy who we expect to pitch well. He's pitched fairly well this season. His last win hasn't come in a couple of weeks, but he pitched well in Queens against the Mets, 3 runs in 6 innings, got a no decision in that ballgame, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 6 hits in that contest. So Gray's someone who's pitched well against the Mets, career 4-0, 2.78 ERA, and he's coming off a decent start against Milwaukee. He gave up 7 hits and 3 walks, which is season highs, but 6 full innings and only gave up 3 runs. The Cardinals found a way to win the ballgame. Clay Holmes is pretty good, and the Mets bullpen has been better than expected, but just from a spot/value standpoint, right now St. Louis is the team I'm interested in backing at sub 500, and I think that hot stretch to open the season for the Mets may not be quite so hot over the next few weeks. I do like, in general, Mets games over. I'm looking to bet. I think their lineup is good. Their bullpen has some real cracks right now. Yeah. But I don't know if this is a matchup I want to play over. I just think St. Louis is probably the better way to look. Opinion here. Cardinals are pass for this better.
Teddy Covers joining us. You're watching Wager.
Seattle's playing great baseball right now, Prez. They've won 8 of their last 10 games, including 4 in a row. This is the first game of the road trip. I like teams that are winning teams or on a winning streak when they head out for their first game on the road because, the team is focused. They want to keep that winning streak going. They want to get the road trip off on the right foot. This is a 6-game road trip. They're going to send Brian Wu to the mound, and he has had 5 starts. He's allowed a grand total of 11 runs total in his 5 starts, and he's gone 6 innings or more in all 5 of those starts. That's bad news for this Texas team that right now they're a complete mess offensively. They've scored 2 runs or less in 7 of their last 9 games. Now, they do send pitcher Jack Leader to the mound, who had 2 good starts to begin the season, but then he missed 3.5 weeks due to injury. He returned on April 27th, allowing just 2 runs over just 3 innings. They had him on a pitch count. They'll stretch him out a little more today, but you know what? This is simple. Don't overthink it. You got a hot team in Seattle. You got a very hot pitcher in Brian Wu, and you got a team that can't hit their way out of a wet paper bag right now in the Texas Rangers. That puts me on Seattle in this one at a very fair price because Texas is still getting a lot of love for what they did a couple of years ago. Take Seattle versus Texas.
Marco D'Angelo. Guys,
eligible in the Kentucky Derby. And everybody was waiting to see if this horse got in because, quite honestly, he should have been in to start with. He just missed on points simply because of a rule change this year that cost him 13.5 points from the Santa Anita Derby. But we got the scratch yesterday, and now we do have Baeza moves in. He'll be number 21. This is a horse that's only had 4 career starts, and he has gotten better in every start. He's a major factor. Now, everybody might remember a couple years ago, actually 2022, horse named Rich Strike got into the Kentucky Derby on a late scratch. He ended up winning the Kentucky Derby, second highest payout ever. He went off at 80-1 in that race and paid $163 to win. Baeza is not going to be 80-1. This is a horse that's a legit contender. And as I said, those 4 races, his buyer speed figures, which a lot of people use like the Bible as far as handicapping goes, he's gone on an upward trajectory in all 4 of his races. He started out with a 60 speed figure, 87, 93, 101 in his last. I look for a big effort out of him. And because he gets into this race, Rodriguez, number 4, was scratched yesterday. That's what got him in. We also had another scratch this morning. Number 10, Grande, moves out, and it actually makes things a little easier for me because we did do our Pony Pundits show on Wednesday, and my numbers on that show were 8, 18, 10, and 9. Well, since the 10 got scratched, makes it easy for me. Here's my reshuffled numbers from the Pony Pundit show. I have the 8 on top. I've got the 21 who moved in, Baeza, second, 18 third, and number 9 fourth. And right now, the price on Baeza is a lot higher than he will go off at tomorrow because a lot of people don't realize he's into the race yet. They haven't made their serious bets yet. But morning line on him, I think, was 12-1 if he got in. He was hovering around 20-1 this morning. He will go off probably 3rd choice in the betting on Saturday, and he is a horse that needs to be used.
There we go, Mark. Go to the end.
Points. The biggest thing is, what if we get another Michael Porter Jr. disappearing act? He's done this twice in this series, and they cannot take the chance. If he looks slow, if he looks like he's not engaged, they are going to yank him so fast and put Russell Westbrook in. because Russell Westbrook is just going to bring the energy. We know he's going to shoot the ball if he's open. He's a very short memory, and he's not going to be scared of the moment. We look at some numbers, 14 or more points in 4 out of 5 games in this series, 25 and 35 minutes the last 2 games, 10 and 15 field goal attempts in those 2 games. He's made a couple 3-pointers in those 2 games. He's added a couple free throws. So he's been in these moments before. He's been in these spots. The spotlight is not too big. Is he always a liability? Yes, but he's been pretty good, and they desperately need him in this rotation. So I like Westbrook to go over 11.5 points.
Fascinating Formula One season.
Using brand new cars. So the teams are just not going to throw a lot of resources into their cars. There's a prop that you can get for the Miami Grand Prix. Now, right now, at this very second live, they just started practice, so you have to wait till practice is over. Take a look at the winning margin less than 6 seconds. This is a track where they're going to kind of get spread out, and there's going to be gaps in between cars. But the top 3 cars, Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri, are very, very similar, especially those 2 McLarens. If 2 of those guys get out and they run 1-2, I think they're going to be within 2 or 3 seconds of each other. This barely got over last year. It was 7 seconds when Norris ran away with it, but his teammate had some trouble and was back in 13th. I think this is a pretty close race. I do like the McLarens to win, but if the 2 McLarens get out front, look for this to be a close finish. Take the winning margin less than 6 seconds.
And Andy, you have a UFC